Got ourselves Team 1 together with Dark Messiah on the team. We have ourselves Revendare. We got ourselves Shield Pills with Chicago, as well as Buff Sub. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. With Solomon as a sub rogue on Alliance. On that team, we also got ourselves Nila. We got ourselves Dying. We got ourselves IFYKYK and Wargran. Are you Kyrian? Or are you a Necrolord? I think you're Kyrian, right? You're still Kyrian. I don't think he swapped out, did he? Well, this is going to be Chicago first versus Solomon. And Solomon, he's just yelling something. I think maybe they're trying to figure out who's going first, who's going last. I have no idea, honestly. I could be wrong about that one, though. Chicago, oh, it looks like Solomon actually straight up waited until the Earth Elemental was gone. Maybe Chicago had to dismiss the Earth Elemental. Starting out as an Enhancement Shaman off the bat. Going to be Counter-Strike Totem zapping at Solomon. He's taking quite a bit of damage from it. Chicago looking for that health recovery. Ghost Wolves are on the road. Cloak of Shadows with advantage. Comes out of the rogue pretty early on as he was taking a bit of damn. Chicago was able to scare the rogue away for a second, but nothing out of the woods just yet as the rogue is hanging around still. Is it playing that Dagger in the Dark? Is he going for the big Shadow Strike? I don't know if he is. He's going for the big Abyssal. Chicago does get the Earth Shield healing. They're keeping himself alive into a blind by Solomon, who is going to have his Sap ZR'd at this point, I believe. Unless DR. So Chicago's probably going to get a heal here. Definitely got a heal. And I also got the Necrolord Primordial Wave, which should give him more healing. Picking up the eyes, and Solomon has to go in now. Unless Chicago just doesn't find him, does get him out. 100% crit is going to be not guaranteed for Solomon. Trick us out of the Sundering. Biggest Sun is available for Chicago. Solomon is going to go for a cheap shot, trying to control the situation, doing some damage to Chicago, but looks like they will be surviving. The Slime Shield does come into play. Solomon has evasion, so Chicago will be able to only do so much to Solomon for the time being. Try to Door of Shadows out of there, but Chicago does prevent it into a Shadow Step by the Rogue. Big leap by Chicago. Door of Shadows still trying to make a play for Solomon. As long as Chicago keeps a Flame Shock on the guy, he should be able to find him. Either way, needs to catch up to the Rogue before the reset does get sapped on it. And Solomon does get himself a clean re-stealth. Second charge of Shadowlands available very, very soon. Is going to be able to reopen back up to Chicago. Ventio Flagellation is getting used up here. Get a shot onto Chicago. Big damage. Big damage. Sundering for Chicago. Needs to get himself a bit of a heal. Fleshcraft is available. Does get interrupted on it. Perfect heal for Chicago. And Solomon is going to get zapped up by the counter strike totem with Chicago siphoning his soul. Using it for better purposes. Your soul was only as useful as it could be in life, but it'll be more useful in death, which something Shaman you would think would never say, but Chicago embraces that dark Shaman thing going on. Dying is up next. Is going to get himself that Army of the Dead rolling in just a moment with the Abomination joining the fight. We don't see a lot of Unholy Death. It's got himself this helping hand available too. Taking a bit of damage himself though. He's going to have to go for a little bit of defensive. Anti-magic zone is available. IBF overlapped on top of it. Has himself the big Lichborn available. So it's Death Coils to heal himself up. And correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Death Coil, like when you self-heal, get you all those Death Coil procs too? Like runic procs? Like runic empowerment for Unholy? Or am I wrong about that? Or is it only aggressive? I wonder. Night Sundering on to Dying into a Trinket. Does he have any other ways out of it? Might have to go extra aggressive here. Or just go for a little bit of a run away from Chicago, trying to Ellie Blast Dying in the back of the head. It looks like Chicago is going to be able to capitalize on a big lightning bolt at the very end. Wargran up and running next with his Carrion Wings. Resonating shot coming out, but it's going to be a wall for Chicago. Trinkets out of that with a big knockback for Wargran. Has the line inside of Chicago. Flashcraft is available. Cannot interrupt it for Chicago. This is actually pretty good defensive usage of it. That's a 20% DR while the Flashcraft is crafting. And it's also an absorb. That's actually such a good use of the defensive. And because he defeated the rogue, they gave him a slight cooldown reduction. That's going to be a freezing trap down on one of the frost wolves as Wargran is there to capture some wolves. He's hunting, dude. But you can't take the hunt out of the hunter. He's always looking for them wild animals, dude. Was hoping to trap Chicago in there, but he saw a wolf and he just couldn't help himself. Wargran though taking a bit of damage, not really looking all that healthy for the time being. Is going to need to go for CC chain or maybe even pop big defenses to deal with Chicago. Does land the freezing trap under his feet, trying to get himself manic bandage, whatever recovery is possible with more traps to keep Chicago CC'd. If only Chicago had a flame shock on the pet or something. Otherwise that camo wouldn't have lasted at all. Wargran trying to maximize the value of that camo, knowing that Chicago's approaching him is getting quite significant healing. Knockback trap, giving him a little bit more utility just to sit in there. Charge trap, not really slowing Chicago down. The freezing trap does prevent Chicago from getting Wargran out, but he's going to get himself out either way. He's going to use a wing clip on Chicago, actually. I didn't realize you can use wing clip without doing damage to the enemy. Didn't that ability always have like a damaging benefit to it? I guess not. Wargran landing the stun into a resonating arrow in Chicago, max range in it, so he's gonna go for full aspect of the eagle here, just trying to get as much damage without even being in line of sight of Chicago. Just cheesing a lot of the damage. Chicago though, max range out of that resonating arrow as best as they could. Got himself a little bit of sustain and getting that earth elemental up and running. That earth elemental with extra health increase is going to be really good. If Chicago's also trying to avoid, as you can see, the freezing trap sundering onto Wargran. If only they have a grounding totem. Actually, they do have a grounding totem. Chicago could ground the traps if they're very careful enough. That's going to be earth elemental trapped in place. He knows who to attack. He knows he wants to go after the Wargran, but he just cannot reach him with that steel trap, preventing the massive rocks and actually causing a bleed on those massive rocks too, which I think shouldn't be a thing. Can rocks bleed? I hope not. It's a lot unfortunate that Ghost was kind of lose track of Wargran so easily. Grounding totem is up, taking it out immediately, has a freezing trap in case he wants to do it. Is gonna have a freezing trap. Chicago could shrink it if they wanted to. Could shrink it if they wanted to. Probably not a good idea here though, as Wargran is most likely going to be able to get himself a reset either way. Kind of that big unfortunate. But he's definitely going to be able to get himself a reset. Fleshcraft does have a muzzle for it. Hex to follow onto Wargran. Does go for a feint death the last second to try to avoid that Hex with a big knockback. Chicago could just keep playing it for a while though. For only 43% dampening. The self-healing for Enhancement Shaman is still quite high, especially as they get that Maelstrom. And with always having a pet to attack, with Wargran being a hunter, I mean, it's just free Maelstrom. Literally free. Freezing trap onto Chicago, does go for a trinket. Big Ascendance is available. Stun onto Chicago. Wargran is kind of lowish on health though. Has Eternal Shell, has Exhilaration, and Chicago needs to find line of sight of Wargran, but with that steel trap cannot do much about it. If only they had the Curie and Resonating Shot themselves succeed through line of sight, then that'll be huge. That'll be glorious. But without it, it's going to be quite tough. But if anything, they definitely need to maintain some kind of dots, some kind of damage onto Wargran when possible. Big resonating shot at Wargran, getting some freebie damage. Eagles are flying, so it's going to be a lot of Raptor strikes back to back. Chicago with a wall, leaping on top of Wargran, but they just cannot connect. Counter-Strike Totem does go down, but Wargran is so far away from it, he doesn't have to worry about Counter-Strike Totem whatsoever. Does make sure to eliminate it. Sundering somehow, not connecting with the Hunter. Does go for a feint death. That's going to be Chicago getting a Flame Shock on the pet immediately. Throwing out whatever spells they can at Wargran with Elemental Blast. Definitely needs to make sure there's some Maelstrom attached behind it. I wonder if they can defeat Wargran with just like Lightning Bolt Maelstrom casts and Elemental Blast Maelstrom casts. Because eventually Wargran is not going to have enough healing to sustain himself. Big damage on the Wargran out of nowhere with Chicago. I'm sorry, what just happened? Out of nowhere. Just took him out. And Iffy is going to be out next. What is going on? Well, Chicago just found strength in the elements out of nowhere. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what happened. How did he go down? Did he have like a Battle Master's trinket and then it disappeared? Is that what happened? I don't know what happened, but Chicago just found big damage. Iffy is going to be up next. Fleshcraft as a Necrolord Necrolord Mage. Combustion coming out, but that's going to get dispelled immediately by Chicago. Iffy's damage is kind of gone. Does got Fleshcraft against Iffy, and Iffy got the triple shield. Candle in his bald head. I don't know what's the... What is the smog he's got going on? You know, take Candle. I don't understand. Chicago's a little bit low in mana, but Iffy, he won't be able to sit down for food. Necrolord, huh? As a fire mage, I really am interested. BM trinket probably. Oh, okay. Battle Masters fell. That would explain it. I didn't realize. I just felt like it was just so tanky for so long, and then just all that health disappeared. But I guess he just had borrowed health the whole time. So Chicago did have good damage. It's not bursty damage, but it's just the Hunter borrowing the health and just never being able to cash back in on it. Iffy, I believe, is playing a normal blink. Yeah, it has to be playing normal blink. But Chicago could just deal with those shields so easily. Spirit Walker's Grace in order to get out of the route. Or not Spirit Walker's Grace, but that Enhancement Shaman Sprint. in order to get out of the route and still continue to chase after Iffy. Cannot really get a lot of maelstrom with the mage just on the run the whole time. Definitely willing to go for some kind of a slow into Iffy at some point. Trying to go for an Abyss. Shadow Melt has been used, but the Ghost Tools will get him up and running. That's going to be more heals for Chicago. Iffy, is he actually going to be able to get out of here somehow? Is he going to be able to get out alive with this? Iceball coming out pretty early. I wonder if the Necrolord will ever come into play here for the damage he's got going on. I am actually wondering if that's ever going to be the play for him. Chicago trying to get himself a bit of a range. Big Ascendance, Iffy getting the shields up and running. Necrolord shield does come into play for a moment. Trying to let Apollyon. Chicago does trinket out of it immediately. Has big wind strikes ready for this mage. Is going to get at least one around the corner. Iffy needs to create some line of sight somehow. Big Elemental Blast. It is going to go for the health increase of the Battle Masters. Big Fleshcraft coming out of it. Hopefully that'll help him out even a little. Does have big combustion ready for Chicago. Chicago popping in the wall on this one. If he tried not to get his combustion burned off, does have Altar Time available. Is Chicago going to be able to remove it? Try to remove the Altar Time. But if he does gain back a lot of his health, big Fleshcraft for Chicago. Necrolord, Mage, huh? So far he's got himself quite a bit of combustions on the Chicago. But health-wise, Chicago is a little bit ahead. As long as he can just get some damage onto Iffy and maybe dispel a few shields here and there, he will be in a definite good spot. Just Iffy has so much kite ability. Big Sundering Breath out of Iffy. And is going to have himself Cauterize available in case things go bad. But at 70% dampening, I didn't realize that's how long this duel has been going on. 70% dampening, those shields are barely doing anything. Cauterize coming out. Can Chicago do something about it? I think Iffy's just over. I think Iffy's just over it. Big LE Blast from afar, taking him out. I feel like maybe the mage would have had a better chance if we didn't have this high dampening, as the shielding is basically non-existent. Like Chicago just could stop purging. Like all the shields make up what the original flame fire shield would be. You know what I mean? Nilu is going to be up next as a Shadow Priest, getting big damage onto Chicago. Drop down Grounding Totem and left him with it with the Earth Elemental. That PI is giving big value to Nila, but without having any line of sight on Chicago, it is not proven to be quite as good. Chicago's going to have to consolidate the cooldowns a little bit here. Does have a wall coming up very, very soon. Going to be Ghost Tools available very, very soon. Did walk by Icky to get a little bit of that cooldown reduction on the Fleshcraft as well. So maybe we'll be able to use it later. I think a Battle Master Trinket used for Chicago as well just now, as Nila is able to get himself a setup of dots. Big mind games in Chicago. Better be careful. Actually, Grounding Totem saving the day. Chicago does not have the red swirl around him. Grounding Totem making a big play just now. Big playmaker by the Enhancement Shaman. And Nila trying to get himself some damage back in Chicago. Does get a Void Form activated. Is that an actual Void Form? Is he getting a second one? Or is that... Did he not get a first Void Form? It looked like he got a second one. Wait, oh, no. Probably one is an actual Void Form. The other is that one talent that procs, like, Void Form. Right? No. They changed the whole talent. I really don't know, actually. I really don't know. What kind of Void Form is he running? I literally don't remember too much about the Void Form talents. I know there's one that's like, you die at the end. I don't think a lot of people use that right now. Then there's one that gives you crit. And then I guess there's the one that is prolonged, like you can prolong Void Form the more Void Bolts you spend. I could be wrong on that one though. It's gonna be Nila dropping down another Shadow Crash. Maybe the first time you did Void Form. I don't know. Elemental Blast, and you're gonna get an interrupt onto Nila. Big Wind Strike's coming out. Mind Game's trying to make a play. Greater Fate for Nila, trying to stay alive. Does have Disperse, but that's not really gonna be much of healing. More like just damage reduction at best. Quick Fear on Chicago, trying to go for yet another Void Form, so he does get quick Void Forms. Unless the 1.5 minutes passed that quickly. Am I wrong on that one? Maybe 1.5 minutes passed that quickly. Because it looks like he's getting Void Form often, actually. But I guess 1.5 is a pretty short amount of time. Maybe I'm wrong. What is time? What is time and space continuum? And looks like Chicago gets himself a 5th kill in a row. 1 million healing. 1 million healing for Enhancement Shamans. 1 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. 80% damage, Shadowman. Now he heals for what normal Death Strike does. True. Deathers don't have any kind of healing right now, unless you're Blood DK. And you're not going to play that in PvP, most likely. You probably are not playing that in PvP.